Okay, so round two. Our last video, we got to talk a little bit about the products, but one that got a lot of attention was the sinus and allergy product.
Yes.
And I know we touched on the product, but not so much on the ailment.
Yes.
And I think we can get a little bit more detail. So many people are asking questions, and I thought, let's rather just touch on them in this video and let's go a bit deeper into the actual ailments, because we talked about life tones and the story of how it started. We talked about sinus and allergy and how we first formulated our first product, but we didn't touch on why or how it works or why it would work.
So the sinus and allergies we've had a lot of questions with that one. People are very interested to know how it works. So basically the sinus and allergy is a natural antihistamine. So it naturally lowers your histamine levels in your body, but at the same time it corrects the functioning of the immune system. So we don't overreact to pollens, dust, cats, dogs, whatever that trigger is. So it kind of calms the immune system down. It helps it to recognize what is a pathogen or a toxin to the body. So people often say, well, if I take the sinus and allergy, does that mean I'm not ever going to be allergic to my cat again? So that's not the case. Although you're lowering your histamine levels, if you have something in your lifestyle, your diet, that is upping your histamine levels all the time, by taking an antihistamine, you will lower them, but they're going to get triggered all the time. So you're still going to have high histamine levels when you stop taking the product, because something in your lifestyle, your diet, maybe
Or
a
in your
medication,
environment,
or a medication that you're taking is causing your body to become toxic or raising your histamine levels. So high histamine levels cause allergic reactions. So it's not natural to be allergic to a cat or a dog or pollen. It's not natural. We shouldn't be allergic to those things. But as soon as our histamine levels are triggered and our body releases histamine, we react to different things. So if you can keep your histamine levels under control by having a diet that is non-acidic, because as soon as you become acidic again, you release histamine. So if you can keep your diet under control and keep your histamine levels down, then you won't have the problem of reacting to cats and dogs. But taking a supplement like Herbe Sinus and Allergy to keep your histamine levels down will obviously give you the relief that you need, but nobody wants to be on a remedy for the rest of their life, even if it is a natural remedy. So ideally you want to look at your lifestyle, your environment, your eating habits, and help yourself. But yes, of course, taking a supplement is always going to give you the relief that you need.
So you mentioned in the acidity side, and that's obviously where another one of our products rides off of, which is life tones.
Yes.
And we spoke about the story and how it started, but also it's so much more than just, like, people are so used to being treated arthritis and gout. I don't even know still to this day if the doctors still say that there's not much you can do except change your diet.
Yes.
So they say, like, it's a steady decline from here is what I've heard. And there's not much you can do. Once you get arthritis when you're older, that's kind of it. You either change your diet or it's game over.
Yeah. So obviously, if you have high acidity in the body, excess acidity accumulates in the joints and the muscles as these little crystals that almost look like sharp salt crystals, and they accumulate in the joints and in the muscles, and every time we move they cause pain. So taking a supplement like Life Tones Acid Clear helps to break down those acid crystals, and then it helps the body to eliminate the crystals from the body. If there's damage to the joints, which often happens, that takes a longer time to treat and to mend. Life Tones Acid Clear gets rid of the cause of the problem. So we clear those crystals out of the joints that cause the destruction in the joint. So you need to be on it as early as you can, as quickly as you can. Keep your body alkaline so it never gets to the point of causing damage to the joints. Because once that damage happens, it is a long time and a long process to repair that damage. So the sooner you can keep your body alkaline and start on an alkaline diet, the better. So lifestyle is really important.
So a key ingredient just also in there is something so simple, something everyone knows, but it's just the way that it's extracted and the way that it's consumed in life tones that assists in achieving this alkaline state. So celery seeds is your main ingredient.
Yeah, celery and birch are your two herbs that work very effectively at keeping the body alkaline. And we've put them into a tincture form because tinctures are so well absorbed and easily absorbed by the body. So we get a maximum extract out of those herbs as opposed to just drinking a celery tea or drinking a birch tea. As soon as you put it into a tincture, it amplifies the effect because it extracts so much of the active ingredients out of the herb. So drinking those keeps your body alkaline and helps the body eliminate those excessive acids from the body. And
Awesome.
then we combine it with natural anti-inflammatories, which are safe for the body to handle, not like a synthetic one. So you're reducing inflammation while eliminating the cause of the inflammation, which is the acidity.
Lovely. And then I thought we could touch on a bit more of our herbe range. It is one of our most extensive range, formulated over, the formula is probably over the last 30 years since you began.
Yes.
They started. And it's all because of how frequently you would see problems in and out of your
I think one
practice.
of the most frequently seen problems in the early days that we used to see all the time, and I know it's still there, is poor circulation. We had so many people coming in and they didn't know what to use. How do they get their blood moving around the body?
And it's not just about, like you said, it's not just about thinning the blood.
No.
That's not sorting it out. That's not natural.
That's the only thing they were offered was to thin the blood. Take a blood thinner to help the blood move around the body.
That's not giving you the movement.
No. So we would prescribe different products. We'd end up giving them 3 or 4 different products to help move the blood around the body. Something to strengthen the heart. Something to make sure the blood viscosity is correct, so it wasn't too thick or too thin. And then obviously restoring the natural movement of the blood vessels. So that's very important. If the blood vessels are not moving, because there's a natural peristaltic movement, like in your colon, the blood vessels do the same thing. They move like this all day long. And some people had lost that natural movement due to
so they're just relying on their heart.
Yes, hardening of the arteries or losing the natural elasticity of the blood vessels. So the heart had to do all the work, and that is impossible. The heart can't do that. So eventually the heart just concentrates on pumping blood around the essential organs, and it doesn't get the blood to the feet effectively anymore. So people were coming in with severe neuropathy where they couldn't feel their feet anymore. And we had a lot of diabetics at the same time. And I remember a story. It was an elderly gentleman, and he wasn't regulating his blood sugar levels very well. And I think when he came in, it was over 20, his blood sugar levels, and he couldn't feel his feet. His feet were dead to him. He could hardly walk. And I prescribed him the herbe circulation capsules. And that night, he obviously took them, and I'd given him my number.
That product you can kind of feel
immediately.
Yeah.
You do. You feel it immediately. And I'd given him my number because he was really not well. And he phoned me to say that he was in pain. And I said, "What do you mean you're in pain?" He said, "No, his feet are paining." And he hadn't felt anything in his feet, not even pain in his feet, for a long time. And he was worried because he was feeling this pain. And I had to explain to him that it's a good thing because it means that the nerves in the feet are coming back. But it was an excruciating process for him because he was really in a very bad way. He couldn't feel anything before then. So the first thing he felt was pain. So he really struggled through this. But after about 3 or 4 days, he had color in his feet again and he was walking. And then we had to deal with getting his blood sugar levels down, but that was all part of the treatment.
Yeah. Well, we've got the diabetes support, so
exactly.
It kind of rode.
So that's what he eventually did. He went on to the diabetic support as well, and we managed to get his blood sugar levels down. Obviously, diet he needed to look at as well. But we managed to sort it out. And he was already in his 70s, so Bad habits were hard for him to break, but he had to
I'm
do
sure
it.
when you see a little bit of results like that,
That's it.
that kind of triggers the rest.
Yes, it's like, it gets you going.
It gives you a bit of motivation to carry on.
That's it.
Yeah. I was going to say that there's so many misconceptions to health products and the other side of the coin,
Yes.
the drug side.
Yes.
Or not even the drug side, just these quick fixes. And we're talking about your digestive repair tea and digestive enzymes and so on, and how treating that cause is so different, and how treating the symptoms actually does more damage. It's not like a headache tablet where it's slowly giving you worse headaches by taking headache tablets.
Yes.
It's like a lot worse. People think by suppressing that pain of acid in the stomach, it's fine. Then they just have another one when the acid comes back.
That's right. So it's very interesting because so many people come in and they say, I have too much acid in my stomach is burning, I have reflux. And it's hard to explain to them that most of the time, 99% of the time, they actually don't have too much acid. They're experiencing that feeling because they have a lack of enzymes. So enzymes are what we need to digest our food. So as we eat our food in our mouth gets coated in enzymes, then passes into our stomach, and those enzymes digest the food. Right at the end of this process, our body releases acid into the stomach
to absorb it.
It completes the digestion so that you are able to eventually absorb that digested food.
But it shouldn't be the thing digesting it.
Right. So when you don't have enough enzymes, the body is very clever. It realizes that it needs to get this food digested one way or another. So it senses that it can't pass this undigested food into the colon because that's dangerous. So it releases more acid until that food is digested. Then it passes into the colon. But now people think, oh my gosh, I've got too much acid in my stomach. So they take something to neutralize that acid. Now you're sitting with undigested food in your colon because it's got no enzymes and no acid. So then you get undigested food passing into your colon, which now causes constipation or irritable bowel, which is huge nowadays, or diarrhea because the body now just wants to get rid of all that undigested food, which irritates the colon. So to solve that problem is not to dilute the acid in your stomach. To solve it means you should be taking more enzymes to get your food digested and obviously chew your food better so that you do digest it better.
And if they come to you a little too far down the line where there's been too much acid, that often causes stuff like ulcers and so on. And that's where like our digestive repair tea comes in.
So then we repair the entire gut. So we restore the mucus lining of the gut. We put back the good bacteria and then obviously the enzymes. So it's a total overhaul for the gut.
The stories are like endless with this. But
we could go on and on. It's very interesting. Our clients, our patients and customers teach us more than we could ever learn on our own. They show us what we need to develop and the next product we need to do. So it's thanks to them that all these products have been formulated.
Now we can return the favor.
Yes.
Oh.
There we go.
So one of our latest products that was formulated recently was actually done because my sister, Savannah, she's been pregnant and she's about to pop.
Yeah.
And it's probably this one right here.
Yeah.
It's called What's Poppin'. And yeah, it was also developed out of a need.
Yes, well, it was something that I used during both my pregnancies.
But we never thought to actually initiate something because it's it's a 9-month period of your life, and then it's kind of.
But it was, I don't know what I would have done without it because it's basically your raspberry leaf tea, which we've capsulated now. And it's also available in a tea as well. But I took it throughout my pregnancies. And I had Savannah. Savannah was born in an hour and 20 minutes. So
she was big.
And she was a big baby, 4.1 kgs.
Yeah.
And I weighed 50 kgs. So
what does it do?
So basically raspberry leaf tones the uterus, so it prepares it for delivery, and it also allows you to dilate quicker and easier. But at the same time, it prevents miscarriages. So it balances the hormone. So if a woman has a threatened miscarriage, raspberry is one of the herbs that we use. So it's a very safe herb to use. And women can safely use it throughout their pregnancy, although most people recommend it specifically from the second trimester onwards. I used it right from the start, very safely. Savannah's been using it right from the start. She wants to make sure, she's only got another week left, and she wants to make sure that she pops easily.
Yeah, I think even sooner.
She's hoping it's sooner. So we hope to give you some feedback on that. But yeah.
Yeah, some real world feedback before we even start.
Yes.
So this is just launched recently through independent pharmacies. Herbe currently, such a cool story about Herbe. When my dad passed, and he was the heart of the business about 3 years ago, I had no involvement until then. Well, not no involvement, but
besides all the labeling and boxing.
Yeah, all the labeling and boxing my whole life, but the child labor. But up until 3 or 4 years ago, when my dad passed, I didn't have much involvement, and he kind of ran this all himself. And when he passed, there was a big transition, and not much marketing was done with the Herbe side, because he knew how to do everything. And something so fantastic about this range is that after chatting to retail outlets that we are close to, we've found like the range sells so well because it allows staff members to easily give their clients the help that they need without having to know what magnesium does, or without having to know what a certain herb does. They can easily say to a client that comes in, oh, diabetes, here we go. Or lung support, you have problems breathing.
Yeah.
Here we go, try this product.
Yeah, it says what it does on the label, pretty easy.
So yeah, and it's because we haven't just used single ingredients as our selling point. It's the formulation that sells. And it just kept growing, even when there was no marketing being done, because instead of having to sell it through the marketing, we've sold it through the results, which is kind of what we've based the brand over is it just sells itself. It's word of mouth. It's
been amazing.